So I would like to warmly welcome you to today's panel discussion. We have two parts. The main theme is a report of the first year of the new investment obligation in Switzerland and a new regional funding landscape in the second part of the talk we will do. So in the next hour, my colleague Erdem Karademir, also from the Federal Office of Culture, will recall the first year of investment obligation in Switzerland. And in the last half an hour, we will have a call from the national and regional representatives of film commissions, which new incentives for film shooting have developed in the regions lately and which will be developed or have been announced yesterday already, notably by Geneva. But now in this first part, Erdem will tell you in a nutshell a little bit more about the system that was implemented in Switzerland in 2024. It was implemented in the Swiss law after a public referendum. So this law was voted by the Swiss population, which is quite rare, but it was accepted by 58% of the Swiss population that we can have an investment obligation from 2024 on. So Erdem will also present you the first figures after 1 year of investment and finally talk about certain conclusions we already have identified. And super last, he will give you an outlook where we will be heading on in the next years. So Erdem, the dance floor is yours.
Thank you, Laurent, and thank you also to the Locarno Film Festival for this opportunity to talk about the Swiss investment obligation this year. I hope you're seeing the same slides as me. If there are pictures of films, then it's great. As Laurent introduced, my name is Erdem Karademir. I'm an analyst at the FOC. Mainly, my main projects are actually the implementation of the investment obligation and Success Cinema. And in the coming 15 minutes, as Laurent also said, it's a quick overview on what the investment obligation in Switzerland consists of. A few words also on the registration process we went through with the companies, and then the first insights actually on the turnover of the companies and their investments in the year 2024. So the investment obligation in Switzerland concerns mainly companies that offer on-demand and TV services in Switzerland to a Swiss audience. They have to invest 4% of their turnover in Switzerland into Swiss film production or its promotion. I mean, at least 4%. They could also invest more, but at least 4%. They have various options to do so. They can invest in co-productions, in pre-sales, in licensing of independent films and series. They can also invest in commissioned films if the film is produced by an independent production company in Switzerland. That is that's always a criteria. The production companies have to be independent from all the companies subject to the investment obligation in Switzerland. Broadcasters have a little bit more options to invest. They can also invest in promotion of the Swiss film industry. For instance, with ads they put up on their TV channels for instance films that are released in cinemas. That's what they mainly do, but they can also sponsor festivals. They can put up ads for festivals or film-related organizations. These kinds of investments are capped to 500,000 Swiss francs per year and per TV channel, and it's reserved to TV broadcasters. Streamers can't do that. That's something the Parliament wanted like that. When we talk about film production, actually fiction, documentary, animation in any length are eligible, series included of course. What would not be eligible would be news reports, game shows, docu-soaps and formats like that. What is actually our role in all this? On paper, not that much, but we are here to regulate. We are consulting a lot. We are answering a lot of questions, and of course, we are implementing the whole system. But finally, the companies subject to this investment obligation are dealing directly themselves with the production companies, not by the bias or through the FOC. As Laurent said, this whole thing was adopted by a national referendum in 2022. It was a good result, and I think this gave the whole thing a huge legitimacy, and I think we sense that also when we are now implementing the investment obligation. In 23, the Federal Council adopted the ordinance specifying the Film Act in the matter of the investment obligation. That was actually our official goal, and we could contact the companies and start the registration process. In 23 and 24, we contacted more than 100, almost 150 companies where we thought they might be concerned by the Film Act, and finally there were 70 companies that were actually concerned by the new Film Act and had to register. The list of these 70 companies are actually online. You can go and check it out if you want to see which companies are actually concerned by the new Film Act. We have various business models, national, international companies, TV, VOD, of course. We have companies that are dealing mainly with films, others dealing mainly with phones and laptops. But most of these companies are exempted. This might be an important information when you look at the list. During the registration process, they could demand an exemption from further obligations, like the investment obligation. And they could do that when they had, for instance, too low turnover in Switzerland. That means less than 2.5 million Swiss francs, or some companies just showed or offered movies, but just a few. That was also a reason for an exemption. Or some companies were actually offering on-demand services to their clients, but they hadn't any control. They have not any control on the content, on the films, on the catalog. I'm thinking on regional cable companies, for instance, and companies like that could also demand an exemption. So we ended up with 21 companies that had to invest actually, and these companies sent us their reporting for the first time this year on their turnover and investment in 2024. So what did we see in these reportings? The figures are still a little provisional because we couldn't check every detail of every report yet, but they are quite adequate. They should be correct in a greater scale of things. These 21 domestic and foreign companies are managing 51 TV channels and 19 on-demand services, and they generated in 2024 a turnover of 750 million Swiss francs. This is more or less what we estimated also 4 years ago for the Swiss Parliament, meaning that the turnover appears to be stable. Actually, at least in the last 4 years, there might be a higher share for streaming platforms, but overall, the turnover of TV services and VOD services appears to be stable. Then the minimal investment volume in Swiss film production or its promotion would be, I'm talking about this 4% in Switzerland, would be therefore 30 million Swiss francs for 2024. Looking deeper at the reportings, we saw that actually only 16 million Swiss francs were actually invested, and 40 million Swiss francs of investments were postponed. I will focus for now on the actual investments and talk about the 14 million postponed investments later on. We have almost 10 million Swiss francs that went more or less directly into film production and rights. We have 60% that went into pre-sales, 20% into co-productions, 14% into licenses and rights, and a smaller amount of 4% went to CMOs for copyright. A slight majority of the money went to cinema movies. That I did not expect that. Only 43% went into series. This might also shift in the coming years, but in 2024 we had a little bit more investments in cinema movies than in series. So far, the companies have not reported any investments in commissioned films or also in film funds. This is also an option the companies have. They can invest in film funds, and the film funds have to invest in the production. Then on the other side, on the right side, we have these 6 millions that went into promotion of Swiss film industry in general. This is what is reserved actually to broadcasters. And there we had almost 80% that went into ads for films. So TV companies put up ads on their own TV channels and made publicity for films mainly released, at that moment released in movie theaters. There's a slight mistake on the slide. The 80% is not concerning festivals, only ads for films. We have then 20% that went to film-related organizations or festivals, but there also it's not always a cash flow. These 20% concern also ads the TV channels put up for festivals, but there's also sponsoring included. But nevertheless, these 6 million mostly are in-kind investments with no cash flow, but also promoting actually the Swiss film industry. So what opportunities and challenges we see in all this? Of course, these 6 million that went in promotion of the Swiss film industry, but also these 10 millions that went directly into film production is a significant financing source for independent audiovisual production. It's a new source. It's also going to newer formats, or at least formats that we don't support. But on the other side, of course, we see these 40 million Swiss francs of investments that have been postponed. But partly this was also expected, and there's no need to panic yet. The companies can invest until 2027, and you have to understand that the 4% investment obligation does not have to be fulfilled every year. The companies have a 4-year investment period, and in this 4 year we will sum up their turnover and then calculate the 4%. And if they did not fulfill their 4%, they would have to pay a subsidiary levy. But we are not quite there. Also, everything needs time. The companies do not know the Swiss film industry yet. It's a work in progress. It's not happening in an instant. Also, some companies are not used to invest in local production. Some are not used to invest in production at all. So investment strategies have to be defined. But partially also these 40 million Swiss francs of postponed investments are challenging or worrying. For instance, some of the investments made into film production in 2024 concern film shootings than way before 24. In some cases they were shot in 2022. So the payments were postponed to 2024 because the companies knew that the Film Act and the investment obligation was coming. I mean, that's perfectly fine. They can do that. But combined with the fact that we at least do not know of that many new upcoming film projects is a little worrying. But also, I have to say that the companies are not obliged to report upcoming film projects. So I'm sure there are upcoming film projects that we don't know of. But still, we would like to know of more upcoming film projects to be more assured. There's also the European Council's co-production agreement on series that is not quite yet in place. That is partially blocking some investments in co-produced series, minor co-productions, of course. And some companies have concerns about talents and availability of talents and stories. I hope this problem disappears when they get to know the film industry better, but this is something we are hearing about. So if I had to draw some interim conclusions, I will definitely start with the positive things. The implementation of the Film Act is progressing really well. We have companies that are perfectly compliant and cooperative. And as I said, the Film Act has created a significant financial source for the Swiss film industry. But of course, the postponed investments, even though it is too early to really draw some conclusions, we can also safely say that the number of projects needs to increase. I will close with a quick outlook on our side. After the first 4-year investment period in 2028, the federal government will evaluate the law. We will report to the parliament, and adjustments of the Film Act might be identified by then. Then on the shorter term, we see that there is a need for scripts that match the company's editorial lines. That's why we are checking possible measures to include investments in development and screenplay, because this is not explicitly mentioned in the ordinance. We are working on that. Then the advertising volume for films, these in-kind investments, is an issue for us that we want to observe, because the advertising volume for films seems to be quite significant compared to the film's commercial potential. And yeah, we just want to observe that and prevent disproportionate advertising volumes. And then, of course, we remain available for questions and practical informations and consulting for the public, but also the companies and the production companies. And we wish that every franc is really going into films and not to subsidiary levies, because there's no use of subsidiary levies for the companies either. So, yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Erdem, a lot. We have time for a couple of questions, of course. First, I have one. I mean, because I'm working there as well. So, but I don't know everything as well. But one question maybe also that could raise is, you said you were counseling a lot. Are you counseling production companies to find platforms that would invest, or are you counseling companies that have to invest in how they should invest? What do you do?
We are counseling everybody and about everything. No, I mean there were so many questions and different questions there. In the first year, actually, we explained the whole system. I mean, I'm sure you're thinking, or most of you think that it is really complicated to understand, and it took time for me as well. So that was the first part, to get the companies to understand what they had to do. And same thing for the production companies. They had also a lot of questions and did not understand everything. And yeah, that was the main thing at first. But also we are also consulting companies and production companies on concrete productions. If they ask, for instance, if a certain production that is really by TV productions actually, if it's eligible or not, and they are presenting what they have in mind, and we are just looking if that would be eligible in the context of the investment obligation. Yeah, a lot of.
But you also say which platform is the best for a producer to go, and you give them all the names and the contacts.
No, that's not quite. We can't do that. But there are events, for instance, in Solothurn last year, but also this year. This will take place. An event, I think, the first Saturday, where the platforms and the production companies can come together and date. And yeah, that's something we are also working on. But no, mainly, as I said, also at the presentation, the companies subject to the investment obligation are contacting directly and dealing directly with the production companies, and not through the FOC.
Thank you. I don't know if there are any questions in the audience. Yes. You need a mic from. Yes.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm a producer from Geneva, and we fought a lot for that film act. It was the whole industry was behind it, and when we speak of investment, I think there's a slight thing that we should talk about. Is about the spendings. It seems that from my understanding, they have to invest, but us as producer, we don't have to spend in Switzerland, and we could be spending the money in another country, which seems a little bit strange for an investment for the film industry in Switzerland.
Well, first, it will be the same in France, for instance. If you spend the money from French investment obligation, it has to go to European films. So you can, of course, spend money as a French producer in Germany or in well, it's European Union, but still you have this mechanism. And in Switzerland, you're not totally unright, because the parliament was voting that investments have to go to Swiss films, and Swiss films or national films are regulated under Article 2 of the Film Act. And to be recognized as a Swiss movie, you need at least 50% of the financing of the crew, of artistic, production, and technical specifications, and the rest can be spent elsewhere. This figure would show if you have a commissioned film, for instance. So if I don't know, a French company would pay 100% of the production cost for a commissioned series, then you could have this constellation, because in the law and from what the parliament voted on, you can spend it. So it's something we really want to monitor, because one of the main effects is, of course, that the money stays in Switzerland. So it's on every project, I guess it will be an issue, or the bigger it is, the more it will be an issue.
Maybe on a higher level, actually, for everything, the other people here, the film has to be recognized as a Swiss production, and it is also recognized as a Swiss production if partly the debentures are going abroad. But that is clearly a criteria. We are only accepting eligible are films that are Swiss or acknowledged, recognized co-productions.
So if it's an international co-production, it's easier because we have the agreements that are regulating the financial flow. Exactly. We have still, yes.
Thank you. Of course, these investments are obligatory, but the term investment, as opposed to patronage, implies that there might be a return on investment. I mean, it does happen. So how would these companies participate in the return on investment?
Well, if they buy rights, for instance, they got a potential return on what they bought as a right, or if they co-produce a film and they have a revenue share model, they have a revenue on the product or on the film they were investing on. So this is totally detached from the 4%, which is an incentive for the company to say, I prefer to buy rights, I prefer to co-produce, or I prefer to do nothing and give it to the FOC, which won't be the case. That's what we assume. So, yes.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Francine Lusser from TP Image in Geneva, producer. Just to make sure, so you said that investments which were engaged before the 2024 were already actually counted as in the 4%, meaning by 2028 or end of 27, they also have to spend it. So engagements of 27 don't count for the next 4 years, right?
No, 27 is still this ongoing investment period.
By the end of 27, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, what counts is at which date the money transfer took place. And if it's still before 31 December, then it will count for the first investment period, and if it's after, then it counts for the second.
Okay, but I don't get why before 24 engaged money actually already counts.
It was that's the point. The money was not engaged before 2024. The films were in 2 or 3 cases shot before 2024, but the payments were postponed.
Okay, so you make a difference between engagement and payments, no? Engagement was before 24, payments in 24, so when does it end?
The shootings were before 24. The payments were in 2024.
The question is what counts? That's the question.
It's
engagement
the
or payment?
Payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We reached the half an hour. Thank you very much, Erdem. The information that you had on the screen are published on the website as well of the FOC. So if you have questions, you can download everything. And for the second part of this panel, I would warmly welcome the Film Commission Switzerland, the Film Commission Geneva, and Neuchâtel Film, if I'm right with the title. Sorry, you will correct me. Please get on stage. Thank you very much. So it might be a completely other subject, but it's not. Investment and new incentives are taking place not only on the federal level with the investment obligation, but it's also taking place in the regions. We have for this second part the economic incentives for shooting films in Switzerland, and we are clearly underdeveloped compared to other countries for the moment. Even though certain initiatives started a couple of years ago. But in Austria, for example, the national government set the budget for the FISA Plus, which is the peaks, but for the more commissioned and commercial films at 80 million euros in last July. And for the following years, they slightly set it lower for 50 million euros per year. So it's saving at a high level, I guess. And in comparison, the total budget of the federal cultural incentive and the regions are around today 8 million. So we're like 10 times lower on the financial framework these days than Austria, for instance, which is quite comparable. And the federal program, I said it's cultural incentives for shooting, and the regional incentives are more, in that sense, economic, that they go in this direction, like Austria has in the Visa Plus. And maybe it's important that to know that it started in the cantons of Valais, Ticino, Zurich, and the cantons of central Switzerland that have already created regional local location incentive programs. And of course, Geneva that presented a new program yesterday and will represent it today to another target audience, as well as Neuchâtel with forthcoming developments are in this development. But first I wanted to hear from Tristan Albrecht from the Film Commission Switzerland, which is a national body, about their latest developments. Tristan, you're head of Valais Film Commission as well, and you're co-president with Lisa Barzaghi of the Film Commission Switzerland. So what is your main goal with this Film Commission Switzerland today? It's quite new, but it's old as well.
Exactly what I was going to say. Thank you. It's going to be a new exercise for me. I'm used to do it, this kind of exercise with Valais, so it's going to be something new for Switzerland now. So it's, as you say, Laurent, it's something that is new, but at the same time very old, because the Switzerland Film Commission was known before as the Film Location Switzerland before, or Location Film Switzerland before, and it started in 2004. So it's already 21 years that we have been going on with that. But probably at that time in 2004, it wasn't the time. It was maybe too early. We talked about that this morning, that 10 years ago, maybe it was not able to talk about economy and culture together, which is the case now, and we're very happy with that. And in 2021, the Switzerland Film Commission was reactivated under a new name, the Switzerland Film Commission, and under presidency. But the idea and the strategy there was to work on directly on a national incentive, top down, and really try to get that incentive as fast as possible. In 2024, we took the presidency, the co-presidency with Lisa Barzaghi, me as Valais Film Commission and Lisa Ticino Film Commission, and we thought with the new committee, in which we had more commissions. Zurich Film Commission came aboard, and Lucerne Central Schweiz was already on board. We thought that it was better, instead of having a top-down strategy, to have a bottom-up strategy and make stronger the regions, like we like to do probably in Switzerland, to start with the states, be strong together, and then go up and try finally, eventually, to get that national incentive, which is we have to say that the ultimate goal, because it's very important, just as other countries, to have the opportunity to have national foundings, national incentives, but also regional incentives. So the strategy is a little different now. I have a little movie. I don't know if it's going to work with the light and sound. Should I show that? Or do you want to go with
We
questions?
are at the film festival, so if
Let's
you don't
try.
show a movie, people will be disappointed.
That is exactly the problem. I don't know if it's going to work, because what do I do? This? Yeah, it doesn't really matter anyways. So I go like this. It doesn't matter. The slides never work. So the goal now for the Switzerland Film Commission is really to promote Switzerland as a country, as a land of shooting, a shooting place, a land of film. C'est pas grave s'il y a pas. It doesn't matter. And we, as I say, we changed the strategy, and we have different tools to do that. We're still working on it because we're young. We started in January, but we have 4 axes. The first one is facilitation. Facilitation is the core business of a film commission. The one we have for the Switzerland Film Commission is not the same as the regional one. When I talk about facilitation for the region, it's really very down to earth. helping shooting to be able, production to be able to shoot in the territory. It can be permits, it can be scouting, it can be authorization. I have a few producers here. We help with so many things, sometimes finding chickens, whatever. So this is really facilitation. For the Swiss Film Commission, it's not about taking the job of the region. We don't want to do that because you cannot be a Swiss film commissioner. You got to know your place, you got to know your territory, you got to know your people, you got to know how to speak. From my side, Valaisan, if you don't talk Valaisan, you probably will never get anything. Probably the same in Geneva, you have to know the language of the place. And I'm not talking about French or German, it's just knowing how to talk with people. So for the Swiss Film Commission, it's more about being a translator, more like an entry door for the producer who want to shoot in Switzerland. Because most of the time, they don't even know about Valais. They don't even know. They probably know Zurich and Geneva. That's about it. But they will not know about Ticino. They will know that we have 3 languages. So they want to shoot in Switzerland. And then they will say, "Yeah, I want a mountains looking like a Toblerone shape." And we can say, "Okay, you got to go to Valais." Or they want a water sprinkler, and they want to go to Geneva. Whatever. I'm saying cliché here, but that's the way it goes. So it's more an entry door that allows us then to spread the information and the requests among the different regional film commission. This is the easy task of the Switzerland Film Commission and the first axis. The second is promotion. Exactly the same. When I go to Cannes or when I go to Berlin and I try to sell Valais with our 100,000 franc cap, and that I have in front of me someone from Dallas City having millions of incentive with no caps, and it's very hard, you know, to come out of the water and be able to compete with that. So the idea is more to go there united and with our tools and with the money we have so far and the financing, even if it's very low and even if, as you say, we are undeveloped. I wouldn't say that, but underdeveloped. But we have tools, we have things to sell, we have stability, we have a lot of things to show to the world when we go to the markets and to the producer. But we have better to go together than alone. So the idea for the Swiss Film Commission for the next year is really to go as Switzerland and not only as region. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that we are not going to go also with the region, but it's going to be first cost effective, and it will maximize our effect if we go together. And at least that's the idea we have. We already did that in the past with the Ticino and the Valais. We work together, and it's really more effective to be together. We talk a lot about concurrency. Of course, we have different regions. Our regions are not the same, so we don't really believe in that. We think that we are more complementary, that we can work together more than we are working against each other. So, so that's the idea. Then the third axis, I'm on time. Okay. Then the next axis is about development. We want regions to get their commission. So we're very happy to hear that Geneva now is on board. We are happy to hear that Neuchâtel is working on the project. We're happy that Fribourg has an office. I just talked with Basel this morning, and we're happy that they are going to work on something too. And this is the work we really want to do, because we think that the Switzerland Film Commission really needs to work as a roof association and help those regions where maybe politically or financially or maybe in terms of location, it's a little harder to convince. And we want to work with them to show how good for the industry, but also as a country, it's good to build a commission. This is development. And then the last thing, sensibilization, which probably is the thing in which I'm the worst, is it's being able to talk with many people, politicians, and then convince them that it's a good thing. So our work with Lisa, and we're starting to do that, is really to go to canton, but also national-wise, to talk with as many people as we can, not only on the cultural side, but mostly on the economical side, to explain what it means, because many people just don't understand yet. And it's not that they don't want to do it, they just don't understand because we never worked together so far. And we are trying to bring that understanding so that we can really sensibilize the politician, the partners, etc., to bring everything together. So those 4 axes are really the things we're working on this year and probably in the next years to come.
So productions need sensibilization. They also need money, of course, and they're really happy to have had this presentation from the Canton of Geneva yesterday. So the Canton of Geneva is represented with two persons, Cléa Redalié from the Cultural Affairs and Samuel Mellot from the Economic Affairs, which is similar to the Canton du Valais, where two departments were actually in charge to implement something. So I'm really happy to have you here to talk about what Geneva will be doing. With or without film or slides.
I can just meubler, just to say that you say it's 4 years ago, Valais, here in Locarno, that there was the announcement, or 3 years ago. I remember we were already working on the Geneva project, and we were like, oh, Valais made it before us. We are like, and now I'm very happy that this year, where we are finally getting through to this project, that we are here together and that we speak about this doing things together, so that we are not in this position of concurrency, but making things together. Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We are very pleased to be here and to share with you the new Geneva Film Commission program that we shared with you yesterday during the announcement, the official announcements. We will just share together some slides about the new program and the upcoming new solutions that we will offer for the film industry in Geneva. What are we talking about? We are talking about two pillars who provide, who support the programs, and mainly who offers incentives for the film industries for Geneva. We are talking about a cash rebate of 30%, up to 500,000 Swiss francs per project, and also a film office. I will just quickly talk about the film office itself, because it's important for us to explain that we think that both are very important in order to support the film industry and to be attractive for the filmmakers and film producers. The film office for us will act as a one-stop shop for the film producer and filmmakers, in order to get all the support and all the information they need to come in Geneva and to better understand the environment and all the opportunities they can get from the canton and also from the city. The cash rebate itself is just it will come in a few months, because it's still in the process of the approval by the legislative approval. And but the film office is today open, and you can contact them directly. What we think is the global benefits of offering an incentive for Geneva is, on the economic way, is mainly for the local macroeconomic and structural axis to reinforce the industry, but as well to foster investments in Geneva. We want to see our industry to grow, and we want to help this industry to to be better established in Geneva. We also already have a very strong industry, and we had the chance to work with the representative of the industry, and some of them are there today. And thank you again for your help, because it was very hard to build this, and this is part of of what we learn in this process. It's important to onboard everybody in this project. So thank you again. What we can say, the vision of Geneva was to take a realistic step-by-step approach aligned with the international best practices, because we don't want to create a new wheel. We want to try first to replicate something who's working, and we were helped by some film commission already set it in Switzerland. But we wanted also to keep a local view of what are the needs of the film producer and filmmakers in Geneva. Why Geneva? Geneva is, we have the chance to be a strategic hub in the middle of Europe, because we are in the crossroad of multiple countries, and we have some advantages, like thanks to the airport. We have an airport. We have railway access. We have access by the road. You can go from Geneva to anywhere in Switzerland or in Europe. So we think the location of Geneva is already a good point to set up and reinforce the film industry. And then we also have a very strong industry already in place in Geneva. With very high-skilled and talented people working here in Geneva. And maybe we don't have the mountains, but we have the lake, we have an urban and natural settings. We are close from everywhere, and we can also provide a strong audiovisual ecosystem from the post-production to the producers. So with all the local teams available, technical teams available in Geneva. So we think that Geneva is the right place to start a project, and maybe just to make the whole project. The incentive itself for us is the way to say that we believe in this industry, and we know that this industry is part of the innovation process in Geneva. We believe also that they are part of to produce the intellectual property and to reinforce the global economy of Geneva. This is the reason why we will work for the coming years to reinforce this industry. For now, we start with the film office, then with the cash rebate, but we will engage the people from Geneva to be part of this new adventure. I will let my colleague to continue.
Thank you, Samuel. So you spoke about the ecosystem in Geneva, which is mostly represented by a lot of people who make a work of very good quality, on a high level of professionality. And the last decade, all this has been optimized and brought on an even higher level thanks these cultural helps, which are embodied in Cineforum, our regional fund. And now with this new complementary economic found, we think it's really a very good moment to bring it even further. So it's very important. This has been said yesterday at the press conference, that these incentives, like all the others, must not be used as a basis for film financing. I think the cultural subventions has to stay as this ground. So this economic fund shouldn't replace cultural funding. And this is maybe this is a danger, because we are in a situation where the public funds are maybe not sinking, but not increase the way we would like to. So to stay on a positive level, this new incentive in Geneva, it's also a story of knowing better each other, because you know, all of you in your daily practice, that the audiovisual sector is an area where economics and culture are highly complementary. But however, the departments responsible for those two public policies had until recently relatively little contact. So we had to know each other better and to learn to speak maybe not the same language, but to understand each other better. And maybe to finish on a reflection which could be shared with the public, economy and culture the relationship between economic and culture is a common thread for these last days in Locarno. There are a lot of talks about this, and we can say that today the thematic is, we can speak about it maybe in a more open way and easier way. So I think it's very interesting to continue on this thing. So for me, incentives provides an opportunity to forge new links and pool our strengths in a moment where there are a lot of challenges. And the aim is to ensure that cultural and economic policies take each other into account. It's easy to say, but it's not always easy to do. And that we all work for the benefit of all stakeholders. And it's, for example, very important to always recognize and tell everywhere that the film industry is an integral part of and contributor to the economy. And on the other hand, that the cultural value of film production emphasizes the human, the sustainable dimension of economy. And to finish, we think that a similar argument of this cross, so something which goes beyond the borders, we can apply it on the territory, like you said, in very interesting way. Historically, funding for the audiovisual sector is mainly been the responsibility of the Confederation and the regions, but with the development of these local incentives, there is an opportunity to create a network that consolidates the entire ecosystem and to be, like I said in my whole introduction, in a complementary way. And last but not least, incentives have also a cross-disciplinary dimension in the culture. It can inspire, for example, the music sector, the book sector. It has to be translated in some way, but there are already interest for this kind of project. And I will just finish with something that has been said this morning by Lionel Bayer in a talk with Elisabeth Baumschneider as hosted by her, that Switzerland is very little, and it's very easy to start maybe a shooting, not very easy, but it's possible to start a shooting in the morning in Geneva, to continue in the afternoon in the Riviera Vaudoise, and the day after in the mountain in Valais. So we really like, and to go to Neuchâtel, so we really like to promote this.
Thank you very much for the presentation. For the last part, we want to discuss about the canton that has also a lake. It's smaller or bigger, it depends whether it is whole in Switzerland or not. One. Exactly. So go on, Florence. Thank you very much, Florence Adam, for presenting the Neuchâtel initiatives.
Bigger in Switzerland. Sorry. Well, Neuchâtel is a smaller canton, but with a lot of talents and opportunities. I'm the vice president of Neuchâtel Film. Neuchâtel Film is an association of audiovisual professionals based in Neuchâtel, founded by few people in 2008. In addition, on our activities, which are mainly devoted to promoting cinema in Neuchâtel, the committee, few people, we are 4, have been working for 4 years on a project to create an economic incentive fund. In 2021, we submit an initial proposal to the canton, which seemed to be on hold until the politicians took up the issue in 2023 and tabled a motion for a study project, which was accepted by Grand Conseil. The initial feedback from the Valais Fund was certainly a source of inspiration for Neuchâtel. Last year, Neuchâtel Film was approached by Rita Production, which wanted to shoot a series in Canton of Neuchâtel. Neuchâtel Film brought together the economic and cultural departments to study implementation of this fund on this production, which was, it is like a pilot project. Currently, this series is on shooting in Neuchâtel. The model chosen is a cash rebate with a cantonal expensive payback around 15%, currently capped at 150,000 francs Swiss francs per project. By the way, for next autumn, Neuchâtel Film has been commissioned to analyze the impact of this series in Neuchâtel, in the view to participate to the creation of a film commission. So we look forward to seeing you next year to formalize the creation of this fund.
Well, thank you very much. On the two different rhythms, one very big lake, our largest, a very big city. So the aim, actually, I understood, was to get back Rita Production because they went to Neuchâtel. So you're quicker now. Thank you very much, everyone.
But just one, I think we are not, I don't want to be in competition with other cantons. It's not the reality. Each one we have to offer things different personality, different talents, different countryside, different town, and it's quite different.
I think that's what we talked this morning. I think it's not about competition, it's about alliance of different areas, and the Film Commission Switzerland is a part of that. The cantonal initiatives are really an add-on, and they're really stimulating the whole Swiss ecosystem. It's not really from a federal national level where this energy comes from, it's more from the areas. So
maybe our speeches are influenced by the fact that we have to defend our projects in our canton, and when we speak to our politicians, we have to say, yeah, this is good for Geneva. When we come here, we have to shift, and this is the good thing of this round table. But I think, and I'm sorry if I love the Neuchâtel Lake, and this is not the subject, but it's really this opportunity to think it now together from almost the beginning.
I don't know if you have another minute for questions to the regista. Do we have 1 or 2 minutes for questions or not? Yes, good. So if there are questions from the audience. Yes.
Domenico Zucchetti from Lugano. Thank you very much for the information. Locarno Film Festival is very focused on promoting young talents, new directors, and so I didn't hear about anything from you, the Film Commission, about the promotion of young talents, and would like, I think, if you have the opportunity, to say something about that, because it's a very important topic for us in Ticino.
Sure, I think you're in the right place, because I think the Valais Film Commission and the Ticino Film Commission are in the stage where we care about that. I think the stage in which they are now is to build the core business, which is to have a service that works, really works. Once you have that, when it works, the tool is not just, to get Brad Pitt come and shoot in your state. It's not the goal. The goal, it's cool, but the goal is really to use the production that are coming to develop something for your territory. So we are in that stage now, and that's a very good question, to be able with the shootings in my instance in Valais, to be able to bring young people and be able to participate to the shootings stage. And build new resources, but also build infrastructure. For instance, building a studio was part of it. We really want to build something locally. And I think in the second stage, and that's probably what's going to happen after, they're going to care about that, because that's the goal.
Another small question or comment on that? Otherwise, it's Saturday. You need to go to the lake. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and heat resistance. Merci beaucoup.